Alright, we're looking at the 4 amp hour Power Torque battery from O'Reilly's. So what I want to do today is go over the pros and cons of this battery. And what we're going to do is we're going to test it in these Hyper Tough tools. Now Power Torque is its own tool line that O'Reilly's carries in store. But somebody left a comment on my ratchets video saying that the Power Torque, this battery here fits the Hyper Tough tools, and it does, but not completely. And I'll explain why I'm saying that here in a minute. So, just looking at the battery, the format is basically the same. You can see here with these other, this is a Hyper Tough battery here that comes with the tool. It's a 1.5 amp hour battery, and it's the same form factor as the Power Tough. So, or sorry, I said Power Tough. I'm getting everything confused. Power Torque battery. Now this battery does fit these tools, but you have to make some modifications to make it work. And there's some other reasons why you may or may not want to get this battery. So just right off the bat, we'll put it into this ratchet here, just so you can see that it works. Get it in there. Alright, so you can see that it does fit, and there's a little bit of a gap there. It doesn't fit perfectly. You kind of have to press the tool down in there to get it to go all the way down, and then it still doesn't do it. But you can see that it does work. You get your battery indicator on, variable speed works, and it works just like any of the Hyper Tough batteries would. Alright, but in order to make it work, it doesn't work right out of the box, and I had to make this modification here. As you can see, I burned a couple of holes in the top of this with a soldering iron to get it to fit into this tool. So let me get a flashlight and we'll look inside this battery here. So I don't know if you can see it. I hope there's not too much glare, but there's two square tabs in the bottom of each of these tools. All of them have that. And the Hyper Tough batteries have those slots already built in, so they fit perfectly. Of course, it's made to fit. This battery from Power Torque does not have those holes, so you have to, like I said, make these holes yourself in order to get it to fit. So that's not a big deal, right? I mean, you can make it work, especially since if you want a 4 amp hour battery, you can make this work pretty easily, since Hyper Tough doesn't have a 4 amp hour battery yet. So that's one drawback, but if you really want the 4 amp hour battery, you can do that. Now there are some other reasons why you may not want to get this battery. So when I ordered this, I only ordered the battery. I didn't order the charger. And I modified it. I was using it, and then the battery drained down and I needed to charge it. So I just assumed that the chargers were going to be the same for these batteries. And they look like they are the same, but the slot, the hole, is a different size. It takes a different size charger. So here I've got the Hyper Tough charger. It does not fit into the Power Tough battery. It fits this just fine. So you'll have to buy the charger for this Power Torque battery also. Now it was only $15 for the charger, and the battery was $39.99 on the website. So you're looking at, you know, close to $55 just to get this battery to work. Now you could buy another battery and you'd already have the charger and you'd only be out another $39.99, another 40 bucks. But right off the bat, it is a little bit expensive compared to how cheap these hyper tough tools are. I'm gonna keep getting that mixed up. But so now you may be able to use another DC adapter to charge this. I didn't try that. I didn't have one that would fit this, so I just had to buy it. So you could try that to see if it works. But I did buy the charger and it did work, and then I was able to use it again. But that was kind of disappointing that, you know, it wouldn't use the hyper tough charger. Now I've also got this hyper tough rapid charger, and the power torque battery it fits this charger, but it won't charge using this, and I think the reason for that is that you can see here that the hyper tough batteries have these connections here, and the power torque battery does not. So I think these contacts make contact with this little clip in there. You see, shine a light on it. You can't see it too well in here, but I think that's the reason why it won't charge. Now you may be able to modify that again, but to me it wasn't worth it. It was worth it just to buy the charger for the power torque battery. So that's another reason this may not be a good choice. But for me, I wanted to give it a try. All these tools were cheap enough to where it was worth taking a risk on getting this battery for them. Now, there's another thing that is an issue with this battery too. So you can see, you saw that it worked with the ratchet. It works with the long neck ratchet. Put this in here, you can see it working. The long neck ratchet works. That works just fine. It works with, you can just take my word for it, it works with the rotary tool, and it works with the flashlight. However, it does not work with either the drill or the impact driver. The lights will come on and the battery indicator will come on, but it will not power the drill, the impact driver. It doesn't work. And the same thing for the drill. And I think it's again it's an issue of these contacts that the Hyper Tough battery has, these two silver contacts here, which aren't on the Power Torque battery. And you can see maybe inside of here, well, it's kind of hard to see, but but anyway, it's hard to see on there, but I think that's the reason why it won't work for the drill or the impact driver. So that's what I found out. It was worth trying out. I mean, having a 4 amp hour battery would be great, and this might be good for you if you want to use it for the ratchets. It might be worth it for that, or you know, the cordless or what do you call this, the rotary tool. It might be worth it just for those 3 tools, or even the flashlight, you know. But for me, I wanted it for the impact driver, because this is the tool that I use the most. And you know, I was hoping that the 4 amp hour battery would give me a little bit of extra power on it too. I mean, this is already powerful enough. I have another video showing it taking off lug nuts with no problem, and it's done every job that I've needed it to do so far. But I was hoping this would give me a little bit of extra power on this tool, because this is the tool that you need the most power out of all these. But it didn't. So really, what I'd like to see is HyperTough bring out a 4 amp hour battery. All the tools come with a 1.5 amp hour battery, and they have a 2 amp hour battery sold separately from the tools, but they do not have a 4 amp hour battery. And the other reason I like this battery is because I can stand it up. I can stand all my tools up. If I'm working on something, I can stand this up straight, and it'll, it's easy to get to. I don't have to lay it directly on the ground. And they kind of stand up on their own with just the regular 1.5 amp hour battery, but they're not nearly as stable. I easily tip that over. So, I mean, that's not a big deal, but, it would be nice to have a battery made to work with these tools. So, if you've tried this, let me know what you think. You think it's worth it or not? Leave me a comment.